Shabbatov and Shalom on the Sabbath day. Second message of the day. I haven't got the first one uploaded yet, but I got it finished. It was the conclusion of 2 Samuel chapters 20 through 24. I also failed to date it. I want to make sure I get this one dated. Today is the seventh day Sabbath, a Saturday, okay? And it's the 19th day of the 13th month of the year 5779. So we're drawing up close now. We're getting closer and closer to that Abib, the new year. A lot of people already did it. We go by the full moon as the new moon per Psalms 81 verse 3. Okay, that's why we're probably a little bit different. But our feast days are going to end up right in the month of the Tabernacles will end up in October, as it does every year, pretty much, close, either beginning in September sometimes, very seldom. Most of the time it's all in the month of October as we discern the calendar. And it works that way most of the time for others too. There's only about 2 weeks difference if you observe the crescent or the conjunction. Just 2 weeks out difference. But anyway, we're going to jump now. We're going to start in the book of 1 Kings, and we're going to start in chapter 1 and do as many as we can. This will be part one of the book of 1 Kings. As per the King James Bible in the Septuagint, this would be the third book, the third book, Third Kings in Septuagint Bible. They would refer to the 1st and 2nd Samuel as 1st and 2nd Kings. Okay, but anyway, we're going to turn to the east where the temple was and where it would be, and where it will be again, and we'll open in prayer. Again, Almighty Father Yahuwah, we praise you in all things, and we continue to fall before you, Father, and pray for those that are sick to be healed, Father, and your protection to be around your people and all those, and even the nations, Father, that you would protect them from this plague that's coming through. We cry to you, Father, to stop this plague. We ask that you would do that in your precious Son, Yahushua's name. Father, as we teach the word, help these to be your words and not ours, and help the Ruach HaKodesh be our teacher. And again, Father, give me the words to say. We ask it all in Yahushua's name. Amen. Today is again, let me repeat that one more time since I didn't do it on the first one. It's the 19th day of the 13th month, 5779. It's the 28th day, Saturday, of the month of March, 2020. Okay? So let's go ahead and dive in and get this other part of Scripture. It says, now King David in Hebrew, or David in English, was old and stricken in years. So he was very old in years. And they covered him with clothes, but he got no heat. So he was shivering, I would suppose, and was cold. Therefore his servant said unto him, let there be sought for my master, the king, a young virgin, and let her stand before the king, and let her serve him, and let her lie in his bosom, in your bosom, that my master, the king, may get heat. So later on, when they had the slaves, they called them like belly warmers in the United States, and it's kind of the same thing. He was very cold, and they sent a young, so they sought, verse 3, so they sought for a fair or young woman throughout all the area of Israel, and found Abishag, a Shunammite, and brought her to the king. And the young woman, that's what damsel means, was very fair or attractive, and nursed the king, took care of him, and ministered to him. But the king knew her not, as we understand that to be. Verse 5, then Adoniah, get it right, Adoniah, the Ben of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, Now we know what that means. Adonai is like master in a way, but even in a higher sense, we might even refer to Yahuwah as Adonai. Okay? So Adonijah, the son of Ben, or the Ben of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not displeased him at any time in saying, why has you done so? So his father hadn't corrected him in this thing. And he also was very handsome, and his mother gave birth to him after Absalom. Okay, and he conferred with Joab, the ben of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar, the priest, and they following Adonijah helped him. Verse 8, but Zodok, the priest, Benaiah, the ben of, or the son of Yehoiada, and Nathan, the prophet, and Shimei, and Rei, the mighty men which belonged to David, were not with Adonijah. And Adonijah slew sheep and oxen and fat cattle by the stone of Zeroth, which is by Enrogel, and called all his brothers, the king's ben or sons, and all the men of Yehuda, the king's servants. But Nathan the prophet and Benaiah, and the mighty men Solomon his brother, he called not. Wherefore Nathan spake unto Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, saying, Have you not heard that Adonijah, the son of Haggith, doth reign, and David our master knows it not? Verse 12, now therefore come, let me, I beg you, give you counsel, that you may save your own life and the life of your son, or your ben Solomon. Verse 13, go and get you unto King David, and say unto him, did not you, my master, O king, swear unto your handmaiden, saying, assuredly Solomon your ben shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? Why then hath Adonijah reigned? Behold, while you yet talk there with the king, I also will come in after you and confirm your words. And Bathsheba went in unto the king into the chamber, and the king was very old, and Abishag, the Shunammite, ministered unto the king. 16. And Bathsheba bowed and did obeisance unto the king. And the king said, what do you wish? And she said unto him, my master, you swear by Yahuwah your Elohim unto your handmaid, saying, assuredly Solomon your ben shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne. And now, behold, Adonijah reigns, and now my master the king, you know it not. And he has slain oxen, fatted cattle, and sheep in abundance, and hath called the bens of the king, called all the bens of the king, Abiathar the priest, and Joab the captain of the host. But Solomon your servant has not called. And you, my master, O king, the eyes of all Israel upon you, that you should tell them who shall sit on the throne of my master the king after him. Otherwise it shall come to pass, when my master the king shall sleep with his fathers, that I and my son and my ben Solomon shall be counted offenders. And lo, while she yet talked with the king, Nathan the prophet also came in, and they told the king, saying, behold, Nathan the prophet. And when he was come in before the king, he bowed himself before the king, with his face to the ground. And Nathan said, My master, O king, has you said Adonijah shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne? For he is gone down this day, and has slain oxen, and fat cattle, and sheep in abundance, and hath called all the king's men, and the captain of the host, and Abiathar the priest. And behold, they eat and drink before him, and say Elohim save King Adonijah. I'm probably saying that wrong before. Adonijah. Verse 26, But me hath your servant, and Zadok the priest, and Benaiah the ben of Yehoiada, and your servant Solomon hath not been called. Verse 27, Is this thing done by my master the king, and you has not showed it unto your servant, who should sit on the throne of my master the king after him? Then King David answered and said, Call me Bathsheba. And she came into the king's presence and stood before the king. And the king promised and said, As Yahuwah lives, that hath redeemed my soul out of all distress, even as I swear unto you by Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, saying, Assuredly Solomon your ben shall reign after me, and he shall sit upon my throne in my stead. Even so will I certainly do this day. Then Bathsheba bowed with her face to the earth, and did reverence to the king, and he said, Let my master King David live forever. And King David said, Call me Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada. And they came before the king. And the king also said unto them, Take with you the servants of your master, and cause Solomon my son to ride upon my own mule, and bring him down to Gihon. And you think about this. He says, have him come down on my mule, and it's symbolic to our Messiah later on coming down on the colt of a donkey that never had been rode. Verse 34, And let Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet anoint him there king over Israel, and bow ye with the trumpet, and say, Elohim save King Solomon. 35, Then you shall come up after him, that he may come and sit upon my throne, for he shall be king in my stead. And I have appointed him to be ruler over Israel and over Yehudah. Verse 36, And Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada answered the king and said, Amen. And Yahuwah Elohim of my master the king say so too. 37, And as Yahuwah hath been with my master the king, even so be he with Solomon, and make his throne greater than the throne of my master King David. 38, So Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada, and the Cherethites and the Pelethites went down and caused Solomon to ride upon King David's mule, which would be donkey, and brought him to Gihon. And Zadok the priest took a horn of oil out of the tabernacle and anointed Solomon, just like Samuel anointed David after Shaul. And they blew the trumpet, and all the people said, Elohim save King Solomon. 40, And all the people came up after him, and the people piped with pipes, and rejoiced with great joy, so that the earth shook with the sound of them. And Adonijah, and all the guests that were with him heard it, as they had made an end of eating. And when Joab heard the sound of the trumpet, he said, Why is this noise of the city being in an uproar? And while he yet spake, behold, Jonathan the Ben of Abiathar the priest came, and Adoniah said unto him, Come in, for you are a strong man, and bring good tidings. And Jonathan answered and said to Adoniah, Truly our master King David hath made Solomon king, and the king hath sent with him Zadok the priest, and Nathan the prophet, and Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada, and the Sherethites, and the Pelethites, and they have caused him to ride upon the king's mule. And that's symbolic, obviously. Later on, Messiah riding in that mule into Jerusalem to be our Messiah. Verse 45, And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet have anointed him king in Gihon, and they are come up from there rejoicing, so that the city rang again. This is the noise that you have heard. And also Solomon sitting on the throne of the kingdom. And moreover, the king's servants came to bless our master King David, saying, Elohim make the name of Solomon better than your name, and make this throne greater than your throne. And the king bowed himself upon the bed. And also thus said the king, Blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Israel, which hath given one to sit on my throne this day, my eyes even seeing it. And all the guests that were with Adoniah were afraid, and rose up, and went every man his way. And Adoniah feared because of Solomon, and arose and went and caught hold on the horns of the altar. 51. And it was told Solomon, saying, Behold, Adoniah fears King Solomon, for lo, he hath caught hold on the horns of the altar, saying, Let King Solomon swear unto me today that he will not slay his servant with the sword. And Solomon said, If he will show himself a worthy man, there shall not a hair of him fall to the earth. But if wickedness shall be found in him, he shall die. So Solomon sent, and they brought him down from the altar. And he came and bowed himself to King Solomon. And Solomon said unto him, Go to your family. Go to your family. Chapter 2. Now the days of David drew near that he should die. He commanded Solomon his ben, or son, saying, I go the way of all the earth. Be you strong, therefore, and show yourself a man, and keep the charge, or keep the command of Yahuwah, the commandment of Yahuwah, your Elohim, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it was written in the Torah of Moses, okay, or Moshe, that you mayest prosper in all that you do, and wherever you turn yourself, that Yahuwah may continue his word which he spake concerning me, saying, If your ben, or your sons, take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth, with all their heart, and with all their soul, or all their life, there shall not fail you, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. Moreover, you knowest also what Joab the son of Zeruiah did to me, and what he did to the two captains of the host of Israel, unto Abner the son of Ner, and unto Amasa the son of Jether, whom he slew, and shed the blood of war and peace, and put the blood of war upon the belt that was about his loins, and in his shoes that were on his feet. Do therefore according to your wisdom, and let not his gray head go down to the grave in peace. But show kindness unto the sons, or the ben of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and let them be of those that eat at the table. For so they came to me when I had fled from Absalom your brother. And behold, you has with you Shimei, the Ben of Gera, a Benhamite of Baharum, which cursed me with a grievous curse in the day when I went to Mahanaim. But he came down to meet me at Jordan, and I promised to him by Yahuwah, saying, I will not put you to death with the sword. 9. Now therefore hold him not guiltless, for you are a wise man, and know what you ought to do unto him. But his gray head bring you down to the grave with blood. So David slept with his fathers, and was buried in the city of David. And the days that David reigned over Israel were 40 years. 47 years reigned he in Hebron, and 33 years reigned he in Jerusalem. Then sat Solomon upon the throne of David his father, and his kingdom was established firmly. And Adoniah, the son of Haggith, came to Bathsheba, the mother of Solomon, and she said, Come you peaceably? And he said, Peaceably. He said, Moreover, I have something to say unto you. And she said, Say on. And he said, You know that the kingdom was mine, and that all Israel set their faces on me, that I should reign. However, the kingdom is turned about, and is become my brother's, for it was his from Yahuwah. And now I ask one petition of you, deny me not. And she said unto him, Say on. And he said, Speak, I beg you, unto Solomon the king, for he will not say no to you, that he gave me Abishka the Shanamite to wife. Verse 18, And Bathsheba said, Well, I will speak for you unto the king. Bathsheba therefore went unto King Solomon to speak unto him for Adoniah. And the king rose up to meet her, and bowed himself unto her, and sat down on his throne, and caused a throne to be set for the king's mother, and she sat on his right hand. Then she said, I desire one small petition of you. Oh, excuse me. One small petition of you, is what I just read. I gotta find it. There we go. I pray you, say not no to me. And the king said unto her, Ask on, my mother, for I will not say no. And she said, Let Abishag the Shanamite to be given to Adoniah, your brother, to wife. And King Solomon answered and said unto his mother, And why do you ask Abishag the Shunammite for Adoniah? Ask for him the kingdom also, for he is mine elder to brother, even for him, and for Abiathar the priest, and for Joab the son of Zeruiah. Then King Solomon sware by Yahuwah, saying, Elohim do so to me, and more also, if Adoniah have not spoken this word against his own life. Now therefore, as Yahuwah lives, which have established me, and set me on the throne of David my father, and who have made me an house as he promised, or a lineage is what it's talking about there, as he promised. You know, it goes all the way down to our Messiah, Yahushua, son of David. Adoniah shall be put to death this day. And King Solomon sent by the hand of Benaiah, the ben of Jehoiada, and he attacked him that he died. And unto Abiathar the priest said the king, Get you to Anath, unto your own fields, for you are worthy of death, but I will not at this time put you to death, because you bearest the ark of Yahuwah Elohim before David my father, and because you has been afflicted in all wherein my father was afflicted. So Solomon thrust out Abiathar from being priest unto Yahuwah, that he might fulfill the word of Yahuwah, okay, which he spake concerning the house of Eli in Shiloh. Okay, so we remember there was a curse put on Eli, and so this bloodline again is set aside because it's keeping that promise that was made, or that curse concerning Eli. Verse 28, Then tidings came to Joab. Joab had turned after Adoniah, though he turned not after Absalom. And Joab fled into the tabernacle of Yahuwah and caught hold on the horns of the altar, because we know the temple wasn't yet built. Okay? Verse 29, And it was told King Solomon that Joab was fled unto the tabernacle of Yahuwah, and behold, he is by the altar. Then Solomon sent Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada, saying, Go, attack him. And Benaiah came to the tabernacle of Yahuwah, and said unto him, Thus saith the king, Come forth. And he said, No, but I will die here. And Benaiah brought the king word again, saying, Thus said Joab, and thus he answered me. And the king said unto him, Do as he hath said, and fall upon or attack him and bury him, that he may take away the innocent blood which Joab shed from me and from my family, or from me and the family of my father. 32. And Yahuwah shall return his blood upon his own head, who fell upon, or who attacked two men more righteous and better than he, and slew them with the sword. My father David, not knowing thereof, or not knowing about it, to Abner the ben of Ner, captain of the host of Israel, and Amasa the ben of Yether, I believe, captain of the host of Yehuda. 33. Their blood shall therefore return upon the head of Joab, and upon the head of his descendants forever. But upon David and upon his descendants, and upon the family, his family, and upon his throne shall there be peace forever from Yahuwah. So Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada went up and attacked him and killed him, and he was buried in his own house, or with his own family in the wilderness. And the king put Benaiah the ben of Jehoiada in his place over the army, and Zadok the priest did the king put in the place of Abiathar. He placed him with Abiathar because he was the more righteous of the two. And this sets up the Zodokite priesthood for later. And the king sent and called for Shimei, and said unto him, Build you a house, or build up your family in Jerusalem, and stay there, and go not anywhere else from there. For it shall be that on the day you go out and pass over the brook of Kidron, you shall know for certain that you shall surely die. Your blood shall be upon your own head. And Shimei said unto the king, The saying is good. As my master the king has said, so will your servant do. And Shimei dwelt in Jerusalem many days. And it came to pass at the end of 3 years that two of the servants of Shimei ran away unto Achish, ben of Maachah, king of Gath. And they told Shimei, saying, Behold, your servant being Gath. And Shimei arose and saddled his donkey and went to Gath to Achish to seek his servants. And Shimei went and brought his servants from Gath, and it was told Solomon that Shimei had gone from Jerusalem to Gath and was come again. And the king sent and called for Shimei and said unto him, Did I not make you swear by Yahuwah, and solemnly warned you, saying, Know for a certain, on the day you go out and walk abroad anywhere, that you shall surely die. And you said unto me, The word that I have heard is good. Why then have you not kept your oath of Yahuwah and commandment that I have charged you with? The king said moreover to Shimei, You knowest all the wickedness which your heart acknowledges that you did to David my father. Therefore Yahuwah shall return your wickedness upon your own head, and King Solomon shall be blessed. And the throne of David shall be established before Yahuwah forever. So the king commanded Benaiah, the ben of Jehoiada, which went out and fell and attacked him, that he died, and the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. Chapter 3. And Solomon made an alliance with Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and took Pharaoh's daughter and brought her into the city of David until he had made an end of building his own house, the house of Yahuwah, and the wall of Jerusalem round about it. So this is talking about after the creating of the temple. Okay. Verse 2, And only the people sacrificed in high places, because there was no house built unto the name of Yahuwah until those days. See? But from this day forward, they were only to sacrifice in the temple. And that's the big reason why there's no sacrifices today, because there's no temple. Verse 3, And Solomon loved Yahuwah, walking in the statutes of David his father. Only he sacrificed and burnt incense in high places. Okay, so the only thing he did what was askew was he did those things. Verse 4, And the king went to Gibeon to sacrifice there, for that was the great high place. 1,000 burnt offerings did Solomon offer upon that altar. In Gibeon, Yahuwah appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and Elohim said, because obviously spoke through the Ruach, Ask what I shall give you. Ask what I shall give you. And Solomon said, You hast showed unto your servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before you in truth, and in righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. And you has kept for him this great kindness, that you has given him a son to sit on his throne, as it is this day. And now, O Yahuwah, my Elohim, you hast made your servant king instead of David my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, which you have chosen, a great people, that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and bad, or good and evil, it could have been written here, either way. For who is able to judge this, your so great a people? And the speech pleased Yahuwah, that Solomon had asked this thing, to ask for that wisdom to judge wisely. And Elohim said unto him, Because you hast asked this thing, and hast not asked for yourself long life, neither hast asked riches for yourself, nor has asked the life of thine enemies, but has asked for yourself understanding to discern judgment. Behold, I have done according to your words. Lo, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there was none like you before you neither after you shall any arise like unto you. There's nobody going to be like him. There's never been anyone like him before. Okay, that doesn't mean there's not other people. It just means he's set apart from all the rest. Verse 13, and I have also given you that which you has not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like unto you all your days. And if you will walk in my ways to keep my statutes and my commandments as your father David did walk, then I will lengthen your days. Verse 15, and Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem, and stood before the ark of the covenant of Yahuwah, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered up peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. Then came there 2 women that were harlots unto the king, and stood before him. And the one woman said, O my master, I and this woman will dwell in one house, and I will deliver of a child with her in the house. And it came to pass the 3rd day after that I was delivered, that this woman was delivered also. And we were together. There was no stranger or no one else with us in the house, except we 2 in the house. And this woman's child died in the night, because she laid on it. She turned over on it. Verse 20, and she arose at midnight, and took my bin from beside me, while thy handmaiden slept, and laid it in her bosom, and laid her dead child in my bosom. And when I rose in the morning to give my child suck, behold, it was dead. But when I had considered it in the morning, behold, it was not my bin, which I did bear. And the other woman said, No, but the living is my son, and the dead is your son, or bin. And this said, No, but the dead is your bin, and the living is my bin. Thus they spake before the king. Then said the king, The one saith, This is my son that lives, and your son, or your bin, is dead. And the other says, No, but my bin is dead, and my son your son is dead, whatever, but your son is dead, and my son is living. And the king said, Bring me a sword. And they put a sword before the king. And the king said, Divide the little child in 2, and give half to the one, and the half to the other. Then spake the woman whose living child was unto the king, for his bowels, for his heart yearned upon her son, her bin. And she said, O my master, give her the living child, and in no wise slay it. But the other said, Let it be neither mine nor thine, but divide it. Then the king answered and said, Give her the living child, and in no way slay it. She is the mother thereof. And all of Israel heard the judgment which the king had judged, and they feared the king, for they said that the wisdom of Elohim was in him to do judgment. Makes perfect sense. And that's been repeated many, many times, and a lot of times they'll use that same type of thing today in judgment. Chapter 4. So King Solomon was king over all Israel, and there were the princes which he had Azariah, the bin of Zodok, the priest, okay, Eliariph, and Ahiah, the bin of Shisha, scribes, Jehoshaphat, the bin of Ahilud, the recorder, and Benaniah, the son of Jehoiada, was over the host, over the army. And Zodok and Abiathar were the priests, even though Abiathar had already been set apart. Verse 5, and Azariah, the bin of Nathan, was over the officers. And Zabud, the bin of Nathan, was principal officer and the king's friend. or the friend of the king is the way it would have been in Hebrew. Verse 6, and Ahiashar was over the household or the family of Adoniram. The Ben of Adab was over the forced labor. And Solomon had 12 officers over all Israel, which provided provisions for the king and his household. Each man his month in a year made provision. And these are their names, the sons of Hur and Mount Ephraim. The Ben of Dekar in Makaz, and Shalabin, and Beth Shemesh, and Elion Beth Hanan, the Ben of Heshed in Arabath. To him pertained Sochal and all the land of Hepher. The Ben of Abinadab and all the reign of Dor, which had Taphrath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. Baana, the Ben of Ahilud, to him pertained Tanach and Megiddo, and all Beth Shean, which is Zartanah, beneath Yezreel. The L on the end obviously means mighty one. From Beth Shean to Abel Mihala, even unto the place that is beyond Yokneam. The Ben of Geber in Ramoth Gilead, to him belonged the towns of Yar, the Ben of Manasseh, which are in Gilead. To him also belonged the region of Argob, which is in Bashan, 60 great cities with walls and brazen or brass bars. Verse 14. Ahinadab, the Ben of Iddo, had Mahanaim. 15. Ahimaaz was in Naphtali. He also took Bashmath, the daughter of Solomon, to wife. And Behana, the Ben of Hushai, was in Asher with Eloth. 17. Jehoshaphat, the Ben of Paruah in Issachar. 18. Shimei, the son of Elah, in Benhaman. Verse 19. Geber, the Ben of Uriah, was in the country of Gilead, in the country of Shihon, king of the Amorites, and of Og, king of Bashan, and he was the only officer which was in the land. 20. Yehudah and Israel were many as the sand which is by the sea in multitude, eating and drinking and making merry. And Solomon reigned over all kingdoms from the river unto the land of the Philistines, and unto the border of Egypt. They brought presents or tribute, and served Solomon all the days of his life. And Solomon's provision, or the provision of Solomon for one day, was 30 pieces of fine flour and 60 measures of meal, or 60 measures of meal. 23. 10 fat oxen, 20 oxen out of the pasture, and 100 sheep, beside harts, which are gazelles or deer, which are deer, and roebuck, which are gazelles, and fallow deer, and fatted fowl. For 24, for he had dominion over all the region on this side of the river, from Tifseh even unto Azah, over all the kings on this side of the river, and he had peace on all sides round about him. And Yehudah and Israel dwelt in safety This is kind of a shadow of the 1,000-year reign of our Messiah. Every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon. And Solomon had 40,000 stalls of horses for his chariots and 20,000 horsemen. Verse 27, and those officers provided provisions for the king, for King Solomon, and for all that came unto the king Solomon, the table of King Solomon, every man in his month. They lacked nothing. Barley also and straw for the horses, and for the dromedaries, which would be camels, brought they unto the place where the officers were, every man according to his responsibility. And Elohim gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceedingly much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the sons of the east country, and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan, and Ezrahite, and Heman, and Chalco, and Darda, the Ben of Mahol. And his fame was in all nations round about. And he spake 3,000 proverbs, and his songs were 1,005. And he spake of trees, from the cedar tree that is in Lebanon, even unto the hyssop that springs out of the wall. He spake also of beasts, and of fowls, and of creeping things, and of fishes. And there came of all people to hear the wisdom of Solomon, from all kings of the earth, which had heard of his wisdom. Chapter 5. And Hiram, king of Tyre, sent his servants unto Solomon, for he had heard that they had anointed him king in the room of his father. For Hiram was ever a lover of David. And Solomon sent to Hiram, saying, you know how that David my father could not build an house unto the name of Yahuwah his Elohim, for the wars which were which were about him on every side, until Yahuwah put them under the soles of his feet. But now Yahuwah my Elohim have given me rest on every side, so that there is neither adversary nor evil event. And behold, I purpose to build a house unto the name of Yahuwah my Elohim, as Yahuwah spake unto David my father, saying, your son, whom I will set upon your throne in your room or your place, he shall build a house unto my name. Now therefore command you that you carve me cedar trees out of Lebanon, or cut me cedar trees out of Lebanon, and my servants shall be with you, your servants, and unto you I will give hire for your servants, according to all that you shall say. For you know that there is not among us any that knows how to cut timber like unto the Sidonians. Verse 7. And it came to pass, when Hiram heard the words of Solomon, that he rejoiced greatly, and said, blessed be Yahuwah this day, which hath given unto David a wise son over the great people. And Hiram sent to Solomon, saying, I have considered the things which you sent to me for, and I will do all your desire concerning timber of cedar and concerning timber of fir. My servants shall bring them down from Lebanon into the sea, and I will convey them by sea in floats or rafts unto the place that you shall direct me, and will cause them to be discharged there, and you shall receive them and you shall accomplish my desire in giving food for my household. So Hiram gave Solomon cedar trees and fir trees according to all his desire. And Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 measures of wheat for food and to his household, and 20 measures of pure oil. Thus gave Solomon to Hiram year by year. And Yahuwah gave Solomon wisdom as he promised him. And there was peace between Hiram and Solomon. And they two made an alliance together. And King Solomon raised a levy out of all Israel, and the levy was 30,000 men. He mustered those men. And he sent them to Lebanon, 10,000 a month in relays. A month they were in Lebanon, 2 months at home, and Adoniram was over the relays. So in other words, he sent them in groups. Verse 15, and Solomon had 70,000, so that would be 70, that would be 70,000 that bear burdens, and 80, which is 80,000 hewers in the mountains, people that cut the trees down in the mountains. Verse 16, beside the chief of Solomon officers, or the captain of Solomon's officers, which were over the work 3,300, which ruled over the people that did the work. Okay. Verse 17, and the king commanded, and they brought great stones, costly stones, and cut stones to lay the foundation of the house. And Solomon's builders and Hiram's builders did cut them, and the stone quarriers, that those that dug up the stones, mined them. So they prepared timber and stones to build the house or the temple. We're going to go ahead and stop right there. And a lot going on here, but we're seeing the temple getting ready to be built here, and we see Solomon and starting his kingdom. We'll pick up in chapter 6 next week. And may Yahuwah bless until we meet again. You got any comments, concerns, questions? You can always contact us at the Philadelphia Assemblies, plural, @gmail.com.